Rising family, and welcome to the Black Families Do Breastfeed Empowerment video series. My name is Stacy Denise, and today we're going to be talking about growth charts and bottle sizes. Our objective here is to bring about awareness and education and knowledge so that we can stop this comparison of our baby's body size to other babies, because there are a variety of factors that play a part in the development of your individual baby. We will also be discussing and demonstrating the proper bottle size that every baby needs for adequate nutrition and optimum healthy and safe development. So let's get started. We're going to learn in this particular video how growth charts are used by your baby's doctors, why it is important, what the data actually means, and how to use the data found on the growth chart. We will also learn how to properly prepare breast milk for storage and feedings, the proper bottle size per feeding, how often to nurse or pump, and why correct bottle sizes are so important and integral part of your baby's health and stomach size. So here's an example of a growth chart. Based on the data and research, a healthy breastfed baby tends to grow more rapidly than compared to their formula-fed peers in the first 2 to 3 months of life, and this growth slows from 3 to 12 months. Many doctors are not aware of this growth difference in the charts and will look at this slow growth as a need for mothers to supplement with formula. Yes, a lot of doctors tend to mess up with looking at the growth charts, and they don't always look at the breastfed baby growth chart, and would probably be looking at a formula-fed baby growth chart when they make these type of recommendations. So we'd like to believe that doctors are just not informed, or the information isn't readily available, but that's not the case. Most doctors just haven't taken out the time to continue education as it regards to lactation and breastfed babies. Hence why we always inform moms to seek another opinion if there are doubts, or to see a lactation professional or nutritionist, as they are better equipped and suited to handle providing the proper knowledge as it pertains to breastfeeding, because it is their area of expertise. So how does this affect breastfed babies and breastfeeding moms? Well, most time moms will feel and know that their babies are healthy and strong. They're hitting all their developmental milestones. Our babies are really happy and alert, and we're pretty satisfied that they are growing at a consistent rate. But we put so much trust in our medical professionals that we do begin to doubt that what we are doing is correct. And that's where that panic and that fear sets in. And so moms end up worrying for absolutely no reason, and out of fear begin to supplement with the formula recommendations provided by their doctors. So why are growth charts so important? What should we know? Well, growth charts simply show the statistical distribution of weight, height, and head circumference in a particular set of baby. What this means, let's say, for example, you have your baby and the baby falls into the 50th percentile for weight and the 50th percentile for height. What this is indicating is that half of the babies of the same age in the United States are heavier and half are lighter than your baby, and the same goes for height. So what are doctors actually looking for when they are using these growth charts, and why? Well, generally, they're looking to see if your baby is staying relatively consistent in their own growth pattern. They're looking for any variances that would indicate a medical emergency or issue with baby. So we want moms to know that growth charts are not an indicator for health. A baby that may fall in the 10th percentile for weight can be just as healthy, if not healthier, than a baby falling into the 80th percentile. One of the most notable reasons this is genetics. We can see that some people will tend to be overweight if their family has a history of being obese, and then you'll have some babies that are just naturally slim and lean. Growth charts also aren't a test that you and baby can pass or fail. It can only provide a reference point to monitor and gauge the growth pattern of your baby. So honestly, they aren't as important as the weight that they're put on when we go to those pediatrician appointments and everything and getting our babies checked out, they're only a small piece of a larger puzzle. So if your doctor is concerned, we want moms looking at other factors and asking the doctors to also be looking at other factors, such as, is the baby gaining weight consistently? Are they hitting the developmental milestones? Are they at least near target? Is baby happy and thriving? As well as if the baby is showing other signs of adequate milk intake. So, in summary, my beautiful people, growth charts are a great way to chart your baby's growth, to determine a particular pattern, to see if they are remaining relatively consistent in their growth, and if there are any major changes. They're also pretty fun to look at when the worrying is removed from the equation. Um, they're great at providing that early warning sign that your child may have a medical problem or condition that needs to be addressed. But please note, this is only a small piece of the puzzle, and there are other factors that must be taken into consideration before solid conclusion and medical diagnoses can be provided. So when you're getting those formula recommendations, let's make sure we're asking and challenging the medical professional, asking those questions. I'm just gonna insert a small story here. My sister was concerned greatly about my niece's rubbing of her ears. Well, we come to find out the doctor just kept telling us nothing's wrong, nothing's wrong. And then she is experiencing hearing loss. So we didn't challenge the doctor because we trusted that doctor so much. So parents, let's make sure we're asking those questions and then getting a second opinion if need be, if we don't think that there is a great grand concern to supplement our babies, and this goes across the board, just not with the growth charts and everything. We want to make sure that we're asking those questions, and that, especially if we have doubts. So I just really wanted to share that story because I felt like that was very important to me and my family. We're going through this, and now the medical professional is leaving their practice. So it's just pretty funny that we're not challenging, and then when something arises, the doctors are running. They're like, oh, shoot, So let's make sure we're asking questions for our babies. We're our biggest advocates. So this brings me to my point about the breastfeeding and bottle feeding with formula. Breastfeeding contains a perfect balance and high levels of nutrients that baby needs. It is also easily digested and absorbed, so that means less waste. And depending on the milk production stage, the content will change to meet the baby's changing nutritional requirements. So let's say, for instance, baby is sick. Once you latch baby on, the saliva will set off receptors in the body to produce antibodies to heal baby's illnesses. So we want to make sure that we're latching baby as well, especially even if we're just exclusively pumping. We want to still latch baby from time to time so that milk production stage can change, so it can provide and continue to provide those nutritional requirements of the baby. Breastfeeding also, the baby determines the amount of milk consumed, so there is a less chance of overfeeding and overeating. Now, in comparison to bottle feeding with formula, formula is not as efficiently or easily utilized and absorbed in the baby's system. The nutritional value also depends on the proper preparation. So human error can affect this. So I've seen sometimes where parents try to stretch the milk because formula is expensive now. We try to stretch the milk and we put one cup spoon to 4 ounces of water when it might have been recommended that we use 2. So this does affect the nutritional value. So we want to make sure we're following the instructions of formula. If you are formula feeding, we want to make sure that you're following the proper preparation process. And some babies also have a more difficult time tolerating some of the nutrients. A lot of those nutrients inside of formula are artificially made. I don't care how much the label says human like or similar to human breast milk. It's just not. The labeling is very misleading and has a lot of moms out here thinking that they're providing all of this nutrition to their babies when your baby's system is being shocked by artificial ingredients. So I I think that it comes up in a lot in the breastfeeding community when formula fed moms feel shamed. We're not trying to shame you at all. We're just trying to educate you that no milk, especially man made, is going to be like human breast milk. It's just impossible because the nutritional value changes to the baby's nutritional requirements, if that makes sense. Um, and with formula feeding babies or bottle feeding babies, um, the parent and a caregiver determines the amount baby consumes. So you'll oftentimes see a parent prepare an 8 ounce bottle for a 3 month old when that baby's stomach at that stage is less than 1 to 1.5 ounces. It can only hold that weight of about 1 to 1.5 ounces and upwards to, I want to say, I believe it's 2 to 3. Um, so, yeah, we need to make sure that we're bottle feeding the right way, even if it's with formula and breast milk. That is very important to helping baby grow healthy. So, family, let's discuss the breastfeeding in comparison to bottle feeding with formula and the expense. With breastfeeding, the food source is free. So, you're saving a lot of money by breastfeeding. I think that is a lot of moms' go to reason to breastfeed, right? Um, and you do have some expenses such as nursing pads, bras, shirts, but these are a one-time purchase of items that you can use and continue to use throughout your breastfeeding journey. And then you also have the pump. Your pump, you can get those free through your health insurance, as well as through WIC. So that's a pretty good cost savings. And now, in comparison to bottle fed or formula fed babies and those expenses, you're looking at the constant purchase of bottles, nipples, bottle cleaners, things of that nature, as well as the cost of formula. Formula ranges anywhere between $60 and $200 per month, depending on the brand and the amount needed for baby. So moving on, let's talk about these bottle sizes and feeding. So babies do consume on average about 1 to 1.5 ounces per hour. A typical feeding schedule to maintain supply should be on demand, which means whenever baby wants to nurse and or every 2 to 3 hours. Typically to remove the guesswork and the headache, I say breastfeed on demand. Schedule watching the clock. And feeding the freezer and not the baby can only cause more concern for mom, and they need that support. So any dads or spouses, significant others, family members that are possibly watching this, please support and aid mom in this time because it is very stressful. And we do question ourselves because people are telling us our milk isn't enough or whatever. Let's support them and know these key factors in breastfeeding. Also, it's important to maintain and keep a consistent schedule if you are regularly away from baby, so you can remove those worries about are you producing enough, are you able to pump enough when you are away. Let's make sure that if you're working an 8-hour shift, you're pumping anywhere between 3 and 4 times. That's every 2 to 3 hours, and you're storing that milk properly. Now, storage of milk is another key factor to this because we don't want to be wasting any liquid gold. So I recommend to store pumped breast milk in 2 ounces, and then store them in half ounces as well. So if you're pumping and you're getting 4 ounces, you would split that 2 ounces for one feed and then another 2 ounces for another feed, and then store half ounces as well on your next pump session so that you know, okay, my baby will typically have 2.5 ounces in a 2 to 3 hour time frame. So you're not wasting milk by over packing or over storing your breast milk. So that is also very important. Another important thing is the bottle size. Your bottle size doesn't, you don't need an 8 ounce bottle for one sitting. A breastfed baby typically doesn't take more than 4 ounces. If your breastfed baby is taking more than 4 ounces, there are a few key indicators that your baby has been overfed. They're still fussy after feeding. Um, they're very irritable, and they're not being pace fed properly. Now, pace feeding, you guys can find out about that in the group. I'm sure that we've had a couple of videos posted this week talking about pace feeding. I won't spend too much time with that, but pace feeding is very important to making sure that you're not overfeeding baby when you are giving bottles. So caregivers, anybody out there that is bottle feeding for mom when she's away, let's make sure that we are mimicking breastfeeding as much as possible when we pace feed. We want to go anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes, the typical nursing time for a breastfed baby, and we want to make that milk in that bottle last for that period of time. This is very important with pace feeding, so that we are giving baby's body time to signal satiety and saying that, hey, I'm satisfied, because babies do not eat for to be full. They're only eating to be satisfied. So now that you guys know that, we can help baby grow healthy. My name is Stacy Denise. I am a stay-at-home mom to an exclusively breastfed 7-month-old daughter named Ari. And it has been a pleasure working with you guys and presenting this information to you today. And in celebration of Black Breastfeeding Week, let's make every week Black Breastfeeding Week, and let's normalize breastfeeding. So with that said, peace, love, and light, family. You guys all have an awesome rest of your week, and let's continue rocking out Black breastfeeding.